We're going to take a break. Let's go to Governor Stein, North Carolina Governor Josh Stein, holding the first NC Strong Update News Conference. Let's take a listen in.
North Carolina. The sector generates $88.3 billion in economic activity a year, $12 billion in pharmaceutical exports, and $2.4 billion in state and local government revenues. Now, I know I just rattled off a lot of numbers, but every one of those numbers started with a B. We're talking about big numbers. I recently had the chance to join Thermo Fisher Scientific for the company's ribbon cutting of its new facility in Mebane, and Genentech for its groundbreaking in Holly Springs. Together, these projects are creating more than 500 permanent jobs in North Carolina, in addition to more than 1,700 jobs in construction to build the facilities. We have developed a thriving cluster in North Carolina that in a virtuous cycle serves to nurture, expand, and attract new life sciences companies to the state. So we should build on that success, and we do that by planning for it. Secretary Lilly is here with us today, and he's going to tell you in a moment more about the state's strategic economic development plan that the Commerce Department is putting together to keep North Carolina in the forefront of economic development and growth in this country. I will be joining the department's listening session in Pembroke next week. Without a plan, we don't know where we're headed. So I want to thank you, Secretary Lilly, for putting us on a path to the future, and I'm now bringing forward to address the topic.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Governor. I want to thank Governor Stein and echo his remarks on the strength of North Carolina's economy. His leadership and our enduring appeal to businesses continue to yield strong results and high-paying jobs, especially in growing sectors like biotechnology and aerospace. North Carolina's value proposition is strong to businesses of all sizes, and with a world-class workforce, a strong and friendly business climate, and great communities, we continue to attract great jobs. Our people, places, and partnerships make us stand out in a competitive market for economic investment. Over the past 8 months, under the Governor's direction and in partnership with businesses, local governments, and communities, the Department of Commerce has helped North Carolina to attract more than 23,000 new jobs and $19 billion, that's with a B, $19 billion in capital investment. This is a record-setting pace for job creation, and it proves the strength of the economic development model that we have built together. Most importantly, it means more opportunities to build prosperity for North Carolinians in every corner of this state. But we know that we can't rest on today's successes, and we have to plan for what's next. And that's why, in partnership with Governor Stein, the department is developing the next statewide strategic economic development plan. This plan will set the course for economic growth through the end of this decade and builds on the strong foundations of the First in Talent economic development plan that we adopted in 2021. We are working with a diverse steering committee of leaders in business, education, workforce development, and economic development, as well as local governments, nonprofits, and many others who help us to guide this work. We're also partnering with NC Impact Initiative at the UNC Chapel Hill School of Government to host listening sessions across all 8 of the state's regional prosperity zones and a virtual session for statewide engagement. Our economic development is strongest when it is driven by local priorities and strengths. These listening sessions will ensure that our plan reflects the best ideas from people in every region of our state, and that we're inviting everyone to take part in forming a plan that is rooted in community-based economic development. A full schedule of our listening sessions and registration details are available at the Commerce website at commerce.nc.gov. That's commerce.nc.gov. Our economy is strong and our progress is clear. But with this next plan, we're making sure that North Carolina stays on top, remains the best state for business, and continues to cultivate the conditions of prosperity in every part of our state. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership.
Thank you, Secretary. Superintendent of Public Instruction, Mo Green, will join me on our next topic, which is public education. Our public schools open doors of opportunity for 1.5 million North Carolinian young people. No matter our students' backgrounds, no matter where they live, every student has the chance to learn and grow in our public schools. They are the state's future. Therefore, they are the state's most important investment. We have to be smart and diligent about how we set them up for success. Just like with economic development, before we can make real progress in education, we first have to decide where we want to go. And that's what Superintendent Green and the State Board of Education's new strategic plan is all about. The plan is titled Achieving Educational Excellence. It sets bold and ambitious vision for North Carolina schools to be the very best in this nation. We should settle for nothing less. The plan builds on the state's successes and reimagines a system where every child is well prepared for the rest of his or her life. That means providing a rigorous education for our young people from pre-kindergarten through high school. An education that gives them the knowledge and skills to be successful in whatever they want to do after high school. Start a small business, go to community college, go to university, enlist in the military, join the workforce. This plan challenges us to revere educators, partner with parents, ensure that our children and staff have safe learning environments, and to galvanize champions for our public schools. It is a clear plan to take real actions with real metrics to make our schools the very best they can be. I commend Superintendent Green and the State Board of Education on how they developed this plan and what it means for North Carolina's future. In creating the plan, Superintendent Green traveled the state, listening to folks about their dreams, ideas, recommendations, and even frustrations. He and his team used that feedback to ensure that the plan represents the real interests of the people of North Carolina, most importantly, our students. This is North Carolina's plan. It will take us, every single one of us, working together to ensure that our students receive an excellent, life-shaping education. I'm honored to support the plan and be one of the many who will work hard to ensure its success. I will now bring forward Superintendent Green. Superintendent.
Thank you, Governor Stein. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Governor Stein, for your leadership and for bringing together the partners who are committed to making North Carolina strong. We are already, as the governor has stated, the best for business, and now it's time for public education. The initiatives you've already heard about today, artificial intelligence leadership and biotechnology innovation, aren't separate from education. Indeed, they depend on it. And our strategic plan positions North Carolina's public schools to be the engine that powers the state's future. Soon after I began my journey as North Carolina Superintendent of Public Instruction in January of this year, I embarked on a listening and learning tour. We called it Mo Wants to Know. From Waynesville to Windsor, I heard one resounding message. North Carolinians don't just support public education, they demand excellence from it. And so, as the governor has already alluded to, the State Board of Education and I present our answer, if you will, to that call. A strategic plan to make North Carolina's public schools the very best in the nation by 2030. This isn't about being competitive or even about reaching the top 10. This is about being number one, because that's what our 1.5 million public school students deserve. What makes this plan special, I would submit to you, are the following. One, it is student-centered. It goes beyond just mere test scores, as important as those are, to prepare students for life. It is educator-focused. It reveres those who make learning possible. It is community-driven. It was developed with North Carolinians, not for them. Thousands upon thousands provided input into the plan as they address questions like, what do you like and want to see continued in our public schools? What are the challenges and potential solutions? What are your big ideas? And how will you commit to making this plan successful? This plan is action-oriented. There are specific timelines, clear accountability, and measurable outcomes. And indeed, it is visionary. The goal to have the very best public education system in the nation by 2030. There are over 100 actions detailed in the plan that will be launched at various times over the next 5 years. However, we are not waiting, as the work has already begun. Some examples of that then, if you will, the Golden Leaf Foundation and its initiative to provide $25 million investing in transforming mathematics instruction in rural communities. North Carolina College Connect is transforming college access. This year alone, 63,000 seniors are discovering that it's not if they'll attend college, but where they'll attend college, because they have already been directly admitted to 34 public and private colleges and universities in North Carolina if they have at least a 2.8 grade point average. Some have even been admitted to 41. We have a new statewide student information system, Infinite Campus, and it's putting real-time academic and other data in the hands of families so they can work closely with their children. Schools are reclaiming focused learning environments by thoughtfully managing mobile device distractions. But here's what I want every North Carolinian to understand. This plan requires all of us, that's educators, families, parents, businesses, communities, students, all of us. You are essential to making this plan and its vision successful. And so I ask of you to do the following. Number one, read the plan. You can find it at North Carolina Department of Public Education's website. Hold us, certainly me, the State Board of Education, accountable for delivering results, and I would say, hold yourself accountable as well, because you are part of this plan. And indeed, become a champion of public schools. Our educators deserve to be revered. Our students deserve endless possibilities, and North Carolina deserves the very best public schools in America. Together, we can achieve educational excellence. Together, we will become the #1 public education system in the country. Thank you.
Superintendent. Our last topic has to do with disasters. September is Disaster Preparedness Month. Unfortunately, we all know that in North Carolina we live in the path of many natural disasters, and many parts of our state are still in recovery mode, whether it's from Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Aaron, or Tropical Storm Chantal. And let's face it, we are being hit by many more storms than in the past. Over the previous 20 years, we anticipated 35 storms to hit North Carolina. We experienced 50. That means 15 more storms came than was expected. And these storms are not just numbers. Each one of them impacted people's lives, people's homes, people's livelihoods. So now more than ever, we as a state must invest in resilience. Now more than ever, we must build with an eye toward improving, not just restoring. Now more than ever, every North Carolinian must get prepared. Each one of us can take a few simple steps to be ready for whatever storm might hit and to know that our loved ones are ready as well. That means putting together an emergency kit that includes water, food, prescriptions, and supplies to last you several days. It means whether you're a cable watcher or Twitter follower, when bad weather is headed your way, make sure that you are following your local media advisories. Sign up for your county's emergency alert system to get the most up-to-date information. And it means making a plan with your family before any storm hits so that everyone knows exactly what to do should disaster strike. Each week this month, I will be talking about one aspect of what preparedness looks like. And I invite all state agencies, all local governments, all elected officials to join me in raising awareness of this issue. There is so much useful information at readync.gov. It's all about preparing a little in order to save a lot. I will now sign a proclamation declaring September as North Carolina Preparedness Month. At this time, I'll invite forward speakers and the legislators to stand on either side of me, and feel free to address questions to any of us. Yes.
Dina Harley with CBS 17, either for you or Superintendent Green. We were at a press conference just a few weeks ago with Attorney General Jackson talking about that confusion, I'll say, with funding from the Department of Education. What is DPI and your groups doing to make sure we don't run into that situation again, where we're kind of last minute scrambling, figuring out if we don't get this federal help, what happens?
So first of all, let me be sure we set the context of what you mentioned. It was not DPI that was finding its, well, we did find ourselves in this situation, but it wasn't because of anything that the Department of Public Instruction had actually done. The federal government, on the eve of when dollars should have been and all have historically been released to departments of public instruction across the country, was being withheld. Right, and so it is that that caused the Department of Public Instruction to certainly go to the Attorney General, as many other Attorney Generals were approached as well across the country, ultimately to file a lawsuit. That lawsuit was to try to get the release of a total of $7 billion across the country. For North Carolina, it was about $165 million. So, now, what we have done since that point, because the dollars, at least the first wave of those dollars, ultimately were released, and pleased that that has happened, but there's another set of dollars that are to be released on or about October the 1st. And so it's my understanding that the Attorney General was to try to get the release of a total of $7 billion across the country. For North Carolina, it was about $165 million. So now, what we have done since that point, because the dollars, at least the first wave of those dollars, ultimately were released, and pleased that that has happened, but there's another set of dollars that are to be released on or about October the 1st. And so it's my understanding that the Attorney Generals and others who are in the litigation are negotiating with the federal government and its administration to be sure that that second set of dollars does in fact happen on October the 1st. The lawsuit will not be dismissed until and such time as those dollars do come to every state, including North Carolina.
I will just add to that. I had a meeting with Secretary McMahon the day that the decision was announced, and I want to commend Attorney General Jackson and Superintendent Green for their leadership in advocating for North Carolina Public School students. $5 billion, $6 billion, $7 billion, that is a lot of money. And it was gratifying to me that the first agenda item in our meeting, she immediately alleviated and said, we will be releasing those funds today. Laura.
It's related. Laura Leslie with WRAL News. Question for you regarding Helene recovery. Obviously, it's been nearly a year since Helene. We're now into fall tourist season out in the West. What can you tell us about recovery out there in terms of economic recovery, community recovery?
Yeah. Helene was absolutely devastating. It's just hard for people to understand the scope of it, the breadth of it, from essentially the Georgia line to the Virginia line, and about 8 counties wide. The people out west have been nothing short of inspiring. The way that they have stepped up for each other has been moving. The nonprofits that were immediately on the ground, I was in Yanceyville, no, I was in, Yancey County with Baptists on Mission, helping them very poorly hang sheetrock in a teacher's home, but the homeowner didn't begrudge me. So the relief has been amazing in terms of what people have been doing for each other. What we have to ensure is that our state government and federal government rise to the same level of those neighbors helping neighbors. So I consider that my job. I've worked in partnership with the General Assembly. In fact, Representative Johnson is on the Hurricane Helene Advisory Council that I formed to make sure that we are well informed about our priorities as we go to the legislature. And the legislature has made 2 appropriations totaling in excess of $1 billion. It is not everything that I've asked for, but it's meaningful. And so our obligation is to put those funds back into the community as effectively and quickly as we can. And that's what we're doing. We just completed the first house in our HUD CDBG DR, a lot of acronyms. That's a federal program for housing reconstruction after a storm. We were the first state to get our plan submitted, the first state to have our plan approved, the first state affected by Helene to have finished a home. In fact, no state has moved faster than North Carolina in more than a decade after a major hurricane. So folks are working incredibly hard. This is a marathon. The work will not be done in 2025. It will not be done in 2026. I'm sad to say it probably won't be done in 2027. But what we have to be is committed to the long-term economic recovery. The point I want people of North Carolina to know is that Western North Carolina truly is open for business. That does not mean that every business is open, but every community has businesses that are open and have their doors wide open, welcoming in customers, many of whom are tourists. It's a very tourist-dependent economy. And so if folks have the opportunity this fall to go look at some leaves, you'll be encounter incredible beauty, but at the same time, you will be doing something
All right, so that is a live look out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Governor Stein talking about NC Strong, giving an update there in a press conference that's been going on for a while. He's answering questions at the moment.